Hey, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. The, uh, Kind of the first thing that I want to say, I'm going to read something today from the big book. I'm going to read today from the big book of AA. And now, let me see. There we go. And I want to say that I don't represent AA. Nobody really represents AA. We have a um, you know so if I share from my experience there, it's not as representative. I'm just want to be clear about that. So um, I'm the longer I'm in recovery, uh, which is coming up with, well, it was 40 years recently. the more the more I study other um, philosophies or other uh, you know, ways of awakening, which I have, kind of made a lifetime of that. The more I recognize the beauty of the 12 step program and the beauty of the simplicity of it, and the more kind of eager I am to share it, because it's a um, we let's face it, we get, many of us are stuck in our thoughts, and what happens with the in the 12 steps, is that we get set free, full stop, if we do them. And the 12 steps that were written in the 30s by Bill, and the first 100 in recovery are not just for addiction and alcoholism. Well, I guess it is. You can say it is in a way, because, but we as humans are addicted to so many things. It's unbelievable. We and it's just that with alcoholism, it's very, the addiction's like very devastating, right? It alcohol is the great remover for the alcoholic. It removes family and friends and jobs and dignity, and I mean, it robs us of everything. And the same with drugs, and often, this the same with many things that we become obsessed with, that kind of take us out of the moment, and whether it's food, sex, gambling, you know, porn. Uh, I think some of us get addicted to Facebook. But so whatever it is, but some of those things will kill us, and some of them won't. But the bottom line is that when we're living in our addiction, we're not here. We're not present. We really can't function so well in relationships, and those kind of things. So when I'm going to read a little bit today um, from the big book, and when I do that, I just want you to know that I'm not representing the 12 steps. Okay, that's not my intent, um, I'm just not. Right. Um, yeah, I just want to open this. One of the things that's happened to me is that with the it's a hmm, I haven't been able to see who's watching, and I want to. So, uh, yeah. Oh, there we go. So Jennifer's there. Great. So, um, hi Jennifer. I just opened this up in another uh, on my little, so I can see who's there. I've been doing these videos recently on a new MacBook Air, but it doesn't show me who's there. Hi Jennifer. Nice to see you. Okay, so I wanted to say that in the 12 steps, in the 12-step world, um, that, that it's a practical design for living. And, you know, many of us were having difficulties with everything, our relationships, and so we were numbing out and missing, really the opportunity to engage fully, and so that's, it's just so simple how it works, and but it works. So that's what I wanted to share with you, is that um, the simplicity of the whole deal, and um, there we go. So this I wanted to read to you step 10, and step 10 is continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. So one of the things that separates us from our friends and family in the world is our secrets, and or the things that we feel shame for or guilt over. And after having done the first 9 steps and cleaned up a whole lot of the past, um, step 10 helps us to deal with life, to be in life on a daily basis, and kind of keep our slate clean so that we can have this continued relationship with the moment, or in the 12 steps they call it relationship with God, and so that's step 10. I'm going to read it to you. So I read the step in it just now, but I'll read it to you one more time. And was continue to take personal inventory, when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. So that's the step, okay? And but then in further along in the big book on page 84, it talks about, it actually talks about the step. So I'm just going to read it, you know. And remember, like I said, I don't represent AA or NA or CA. I'm just sharing this with you. And, so out of the book it says, page 84, this brought us to step 10, which suggested we continue to take personal inventory and continue to set right any new mistakes as we go along. So it's a daily cleanup, a daily, we vigorously commenced this way of living as we cleaned up the past. So vigorously commenced is nice direction. Vigorously, we got at it, right? We have entered the world of the spirit. Now, isn't that beautiful? We've entered the world of the spirit. Our next function is to grow in understanding and effectiveness. Beautiful, eh? This is not an overnight matter. It should continue for our lifetime. Continue to watch for, here's what we're looking for in step 10, selfishness, dishonesty, resentment, and fear. Right? That's pretty clear, isn't it, what we're looking for in step 10? When these crop up, we ask God at once to remove them. So whatever your concept of God is, we ask God to remove them at once. So asking in prayer, prayer brings us into the moment. Boom. We stop and we say, God, remove my fear. God, remove my dishonesty. And it's not an overnight matter. It continues, it says, for a lifetime. We discuss them with someone immediately. So when we've had a emotional slip, or we talk to someone immediately, and make amends quickly if we have harmed anyone. So that's a beautiful instruction. It's an instruction for living. We discuss it with someone immediately, right? And make amends quickly if we've harmed anyone. Then we resolutely turn our thoughts to someone we can help. Boom. Direction. Love and tolerance of others is our code. Our code is love and tolerance of others. Beautiful. We have ceased fighting anything or anyone, even alcohol. So when we speak here in this next paragraph about alcohol, you can put in whatever your addiction was, okay? So whether it's whatever it was, whatever you felt your addiction was. And there's a great list, isn't there? There's a great list. For this time, sanity will have returned. We will seldom be interested in drinking or alcohol. If tempted, we recoil from it as from a hot flame. So it's just, wow, the thought, it doesn't come up, but if it does come, we are like, are you kidding? We react sanely and normally. And we will find that this has happened automatically. So as a result of doing the steps, this has happened. So we're not fighting alcohol. We're not fighting, drugs or whatever our addiction had been. We'll see that our new attitude towards whatever our addiction had been, liquor or drugs or sex or gambling or whatever, a new attitude towards our addiction had been given us without any thought or effort on our part. It just comes. This is the miracle of it. We're not fighting it. So we're not fighting it. Neither are we avoiding temptation. We feel as though we've been placed in a position of neutrality. So many times I speak about how vibrationally we've been lifted up. We've been lifted up and we've been placed in a position of neutrality, safe and protected. We've not even sworn off. Instead, the problem has been removed. Boom. Does not exist for us. We're neither cocky nor are we afraid. That is our experience. This is how we react so long as we keep in fit spiritual condition. Boom. Step 10, baby. It is easy to let up on the spiritual program of action and rest on our laurels. And this is what happens for many of us, and certainly has at different times for me, We're headed for trouble if we do. For ego, our thinking, whatever the drug of choice was, is a subtle foe. We're not cured of alcoholism or addiction. What we really have is a daily reprieve contingent on the maintenance of our spiritual condition. So that's why we do a daily program, because we're set free, but it's based on our spiritual condition daily. Every day is a day when we must carry the vision of God's will into all of our activities. How can I best serve thee? Thy will be done. Thy will, not mine, be done. How can I best serve thee? Thy will, not mine, be done. I mean, that's an ongoing prayer. I've said thy will be done a million times, right? Not when I'm in trouble. How can I best serve thee? Thy will be done, not mine. Thy will, not mine, be done. These are thoughts which must go with us constantly. We can exercise our willpower along this line all we wish. It is the proper use of the will. So, we can use our will to stay in the game, the spiritual game, the service game. Much has already been said about receiving strength, inspiration, and direction from Him who has all knowledge and power. So Him, they're referring to God, to the moment, universal intelligence, that. It's beautiful. Who has all knowledge and power. If we have carefully followed directions, we begin to sense the flow of His Spirit into us. We become God conscious. To some extent, we become God conscious, it says. We begin to develop this vital sixth sense, but we must go further. I want to share it with you because it's magic, right? It really is. It's like Holy Toledo. Hey, Gordon. How you guys that are there? Thanks for dropping by. It's so step 10, daily inventory, setting things right, staying in touch. Step 11 we're going to talk about in a minute. Step 11 has, not in a minute, but maybe another in the near future. We'll go over step 11, but it's amazing. So that's it. Now, what I normally do is read from a little book here. What day is it? Is it the 16th? Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. So it's the 16th, and we're going to read from this little 24-hour day book, which was written in the 40s when the 12 step was very, very young. This was one of the first. It's kind of it wasn't an AA publication at the time. It was by one of the members, but it's been used ever since. As a daily reading for many. Not everybody loves it, but I love it, and just thought I'd share it with you guys. So, any comments, you guys? Any thoughts? I'd love to hear from you. This whole thing about recovery, it's so simple, and if you're thinking about, how do I get involved? How do I do this program? How can I live this way of life? Talk to me about it. We'll work something out. I'll show you, give you some direction, And because it is a very simple program to awakening. It isn't. It is exactly that. It's a program to awakening, and um, so yeah, talk to me about it if it's up for you. Let's chat about it. Okay, the 16th. Um, 16th of January. Thought for the day. The program, the 12-step program, is more a way of building a new life than just a way of getting over drinking. That's what I said. Look at that. It's right there. Um, because in the 12 steps in AA, we don't just stop drinking. We did that plenty of times in the old days when we went on the wagon. I was out with a new guy to a meeting last night, and we talked about that it's one of the qualifiers when we're looking at, hey, am I an alcoholic? And that qualifier is that I had quit. I was a great quitter. I quit drinking a lot. I just couldn't stay quit. and you know and because I didn't have any tools, and but I for a long time I wanted to quit, even though I found recovery at 25. um, you know I knew years before that that we didn't mix well, and yet I couldn't quit on my own, and so quitting wasn't my problem. Staying quit was my problem, and then I learned later that it was all about my thinking and my separation. Uh, of course, we always started to drink again. That's what it says here, yeah, because we were only waiting for the time when we could fall off. But we used to talk about the water wagon. We have a saying in the 12-step world that the wagon is a vehicle between drunks. Um, Members in AA or NA, or they're not on the wagon. We don't, it's we're doing a daily program. Once we get sober through the 12-step program, we start going uphill. In our drinking days, we were going downhill, getting worse and worse. We either go down or up. Am I going uphill, getting better and better every day? Yes, as we get closer to, our relationship with God. Meditation for the day. I will try to obey God's will day in and day out. In the wilderness plains, as well as in the mountaintops of experience. It is in the daily striving that perseverance counts. I believe that God is the Lord of little things and the divine controller of little happenings. I will persevere in this new way of life. I know that nothing in the day is too small to be part of God's scheme. Prayer for the day. I pray that the little stones that I put into the mosaic of my life may make a wonderful pattern. I pray that I may persevere and so find harmony and beauty. Hey, beautiful. It's cute, sweet little book, isn't it? Sweet little book. Okay, a couple of things before we meditate. I wanted to just mention that I've been doing some interviews. I really like to bring people on and just to find out what's going on in their life, how they're getting through these times. So if you have anybody that you'd like me to interview, let me know. Send me the name. Just to hear from them and share their story and with the idea towards hopefully uplifting them who are being interviewed, me who's being interviewed, and you who might be watching. Could all be uplifted by really having some honest and vulnerable sharing in the way that we do in the interview. So that's a thought. Anybody that comes to mind, let me know. And that's it. I think next one's on Monday. And yeah, that's it. Love you guys. We're going to meditate for a few minutes. And love it if you join us for a short meditation. And we'll, yeah, let's do that. Okay. The reason I do this little meditation thing, um, thanks, Jennifer, is it's one of the practices. It's actually, we talk about it in step 11. Step 11's sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact. So it's meditation's one of the ways to bring ourselves into the moment, and so that's what that's all this is about. So sit with me, and close your eyes and be here just for the moment. The mind will say, "Oh no, I'm busy. I'm too busy. I can't do that." Because mind, ego, does not want you to be in the moment. Does not want you to connect with universal intelligence, with God as we understand Him or don't understand Him, or love. Mind wants to continue to control. You know, Mind says, "Oh, we got to do this. We got to do that. We have a list." Right? So meditation, just take a few minutes and sit with us and recognize that as we drop into that space and we access that power, that, we're, we're able to live in our full potential, and we're not scurrying around trying to get shit done. The stuff that needs to get done gets done, okay? And so here we are. Just close your eyes. I'm going to drop in for a couple of minutes, okay? Just going to drop in for a few minutes. Just come into your body, recognize that we are in a body, and that the body is not you. We're so identified with the body, and we're so identified that it becomes an area of frustration. We're often in complaint about our body. We're like, "Oh, it's too short, or it's too tall, or it's too skinny, or it's too fat," right? Or it's getting old. And but we don't say it, we say I. I'm too skinny. We identify really, really strongly with the body. And the body is not us. The body is a vehicle. So that's kind of the first thing when we go into meditation, to just let go of that. We're going to drop past this vessel, this vehicle that we've been living in. And that's how it's so clear that there's life before this physical experience, and there's life after, because we exist in this vehicle, in this, some call it a temple, that we get to travel through this illusion, this life in. So let's just drop the body. Recognize that it's a gift. It's a beautiful gift. It works so well. It's amazing. And let it go. Drop in further past the body into, this oneness, past the mind as well, past thought. We recognize that we're not thought. We're not our story. The story of our life, that we're somebody's daughter, or somebody's son, or somebody's father, or somebody's mother. Just let that all go. That we have a degree, or we don't have a degree, or that we've been to jail, or we haven't been to jail, right? We've been divorced or haven't been divorced. Just let it all go. They're all stories. That's right. That we live in Canada or we don't live in Canada, it doesn't matter. We live in North America, we live in, all of that is irrelevant in this moment. Be here now. And if thoughts come up, just let them go. It's a practice, but just let them go. Just, yeah, there they are. I had a friend write a little post today, and he called them pesky shadows thoughts. Pesky, because they can be pesky. Just say, "Oh, there you are." Just let it go. Be the observer of all of the show that's happening in your life. You're just the observer. Here we are. as we drop into nothingness. And if thoughts continue, just let them go. Just do your best not to engage. And if you engage, come back to the breath. Breathing in and letting go. Breathing in and then letting go. Easy peasy. That's it. Thank you. Just a short one today. Thank you. Just come back when you're ready. All right, you guys. Thanks for joining me today. We'll see you when we see you. Okay. Remember, anybody that you think that would be fun for me to interview, I'd love to hear. Okay? Okay, cheers.